Muy buenas tardes a todas las personas que se conectan a esta sesión informativa de Colfuturo con Carnegie Mellon Heinz College. Mi nombre es Luisa Ayala, soy asistente del programa de consejería académica y tendré el gusto de acompañarlos en esta sesión junto con David Dannenberg, representante de esta institución, quien nos contará sobre la oferta académica, requisitos de admisión, opciones de financiación y demás información muy relevante para quien desee iniciar sus estudios de posgrado en el exterior. Tengan en cuenta que tenemos un convenio que ofrece un descuento del 75% sobre el valor de la matrícula para máximo 5 beneficiarios Colfuturo admitidos a programas de maestría. Muy importante que para acceder a este descuento tienen que primero postularse al programa Crédito Beca de Colfuturo. Su próxima convocatoria abre el 9 de enero del 2024. Entonces, los invito a que si están interesados se conecten a nuestras charlas informativas el primer viernes de cada mes a las 8 a.m. y el segundo sábado de cada mes a las 9 a.m. With no more introduction, thank you, David, for being here today, and you can start your presentation.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Luisa, and buenas tardes y bienvenidos. That's all the Spanish you're going to get. The rest of this will be in English. But I am thrilled to be presenting to you and thrilled to share some more information about Carnegie Mellon University's Heinz College and the programs that we have available within our department. I know some of you who are here online tonight. I had a chance to meet with you in person this morning or afternoon for coffee, so thank you for coming to that. And for those of you who were not able to make it, I hope this presentation will help to share a little bit more information about the programs that we have to offer and the student experience. And I want you to know I'm here to help you through the application process. We are a long-standing partner with Colfuturo, and we are thrilled to be returning. And I'm sorry we couldn't do this in person, but with the Sin Caro y Sin Moto Day, it was a little bit too difficult for everyone to travel to the Colfuturo site. So I'm thrilled that we could change this and do it online. So with that being said, what we're going to do here today is share with you a presentation first on a peek behind graduate school and the curtain for applying, how you can put your best foot forward. And then following that, I will share some information about the Heinz College and the master's programs. And then finally, we'll leave some time to answer questions. So I want to be able to provide you with as much information as possible that you leave here feeling knowledgeable and ready to apply to our degree programs. So we won't delay, and I'll jump right into a little bit more about the graduate school search. Some of you might be well into that search. Some of you might be starting, but I wanted to provide you with a little bit of context for how you can enhance your graduate school search and ways that you can strengthen your application, whether it be to Carnegie Mellon University's Heinz College or another department. So I think the first thing that you want to consider when applying for graduate school is what type of graduate studies are you looking to do, and what is the reason that you want to attend graduate school. So there are many different types of graduate studies, some that are professional master's degrees, which is what we offer. Some are more thesis-based, and the reason for why you want to attend graduate school might dictate the reason why you want to go to a particular university. So you may be looking at coming to do a graduate study to change your career path. Maybe some professions require a graduate degree. So maybe you have been working for a couple of years and you are now hitting a ceiling and you can't get further within your organization until you have the master's degree. And others just want to give themselves a competitive advantage to develop a specialized skill, increase their marketability, diversify the projects that they are working on. And you could be saying yes to all three or yes to just one. And all of these are good reasons to consider graduate school. Of course, one other reason you may want to attend graduate school is because you can earn a lot of money. We have learned from the U.S. Bureau of Statistics that a student who earns a master's degree will earn over $1 million more throughout the duration of their career than somebody who just went for a bachelor's degree. So we think that's a very good reason to consider going for graduate studies. As I mentioned, some of you might be ready and have considered doing your master's degree already, and you're ready to start applying. Others are thinking about it and maybe debating whether they want to go now or later. And again, there's no right answer. It's what is right for you. So we would say that about 20 to 30% of our student body are studying direct from undergraduate. So they are studying now directly after their undergraduate degree. And then the rest of our student body has decided to study later after they've got some work experience under their belt. There are various reasons why you may want to consider going direct from undergraduate. If you know how you study and you're able to take advantage of those study skills, then you now might be the right time to keep going on that. You have a good knowledge, a background that you can build upon. You may not have additional costs to consider, like a family, mortgage, etc. Versus when you are, after having time work, you maybe have a better sense of your career goals. Maybe you've explored a few different types of career paths. Maybe you are being exposed to new opportunities. This gives you a more mature outlook on graduate studies. And your work experience will allow you to enhance the student experience. So it will give it broader perspective. And honestly, sometimes other people think you should go for graduate school. And that may be the right answer. Maybe, again, an employer is encouraging you to do so. But when you are making those decisions, these are some questions that you may want to just ask yourself. Do I enjoy my field of study? Do I need to get a graduate degree? Can I afford it? Do I need to take a break, or am I ready to jump in? This is an important one. Am I using graduate school as an escape hatch? So if you are a bit lost in your career and you're not sure, where you need to go and what direction you want to take it, we don't want you to come to grad school just to kind of fill that time and that gap. We want you to really come to graduate school to reach a goal. So asking these types of questions are really important to helping you to determine if you're ready to go now versus later. And then the graduate school search itself, as I mentioned, there are many types of different graduate studies programs. You may be considering an MBA. You might be considering a Master's of Science. There are Masters of Fine Arts, etc. And then there are PhD programs. There are other professional programs like a JD or a Master's, a medical doctor, so an MD, to be a physician. So there are many types of degree programs, each one, as I mentioned, being slightly different. Some are professional programs where it's all about taking what you're learning and applying it, similar to what we do here at the Heinz College, versus some that are a little bit more theoretical, where you are doing more research-based projects. These are good programs. The theoretical programs are better to prepare you for a PhD if that's something you're thinking about down the line. We also want you to think about the delivery of the education. So are you looking for a flexible schedule? Are you looking for a program that requires experience? You may want to be traveling to the United States or to another country for your studies, versus maybe you want to stay here in Colombia and you want to be able to continue working while taking classes online. All of these are opportunities that we provide at the Heinz College. And so you have to make that decision. Do I want to go full-time versus part-time? And then, of course, some of the factors are really important. So the size of the program, how many students enroll, what is the cost, what are the scholarship opportunities, how about professional development? Are there a diverse student body? Are there students from Colombia that you can connect with? And of course, the location. Do you want to be in a very big city similar to Bogota? Do you want to be in a small rural area, something maybe in the middle, like Pittsburgh, where we are? So you have many opportunities there. When you are starting to think about all of these options, we encourage you to start creating a journal or maybe an Excel file or somewhere where you can start to collect information. You want to keep things organized by school and also by date. So these are some of when you are collecting the information, you want to be also asking the universities if they provide these types of opportunities. Things like, do they provide interviews? Do they provide campus tours or opportunities to visit campus? Can you speak with or meet with career services, faculty, current students? Can you talk about scholarships? And in today's day and age with post-COVID, many universities have changed the way that they provide information to students. Here we are on Zoom today, and there are more opportunities online than there have ever been. So you can take advantage of that by joining virtual campus tours, having a one-on-one Zoom call with either myself or my colleagues, seeing videos of classes, having an interview with an alumni. There are many ways that you can get involved, and we encourage you to do so. And I'll talk a little bit more about getting involved later in the presentation. But after you have all of these experiences, they shouldn't be the last time that you interact with the university. So for those folks who I met with this morning, as I said, I look forward to meeting with you all again, because this should not be the last time that we connect. I want to hear from you via email. I want you to be keeping me in the loop with your application process, and asking me questions so that I can help you to put together a strong application. So that is really important when you are going through the application process, is to maintain those relationships so that you are at the front of mind of the admissions offices. So, of course, it's all good that you now know what university you want to apply to, but you want to know how can you get in. And so the information I'm going to share here is the information that is more specific to Heinz College and Carnegie Mellon, but it is pretty standard amongst all graduate studies. Each university may have some varied requirements, but you can use this as a guideline. So when you are applying to Carnegie Mellon University, the first thing I want to share with you is that everything counts. We run what is called a holistic application review process. This means that everything that we ask for in our application is going to be used to make a decision for your admission. We are not having one thing be more important than the other. So when you are applying, we are not just looking at your grades. We are looking at your grades. We are looking at the individual courses. We are looking at if you chose to take any of the tests like a GRE or a GMAT. When you do your English exams, we're looking at the scores. We're looking at your letters of recommendation, essays and resume, and any interview opportunities. It's important to know that everything tells a story about who you are, not only as an applicant and a student, but as an individual. And it's important that the universities that you're applying to follow this model, this holistic review process, because you are not just a test score and you are not just a grade. There is a lot more to what you bring to a university and your background than just the grades and the tests. So please definitely make sure that you explore those opportunities and you know that that's part of the review process. Now, when you are applying to Carnegie Mellon, we are asking that you reach out to your university here in Colombia or wherever it is that you studied and have them send us your transcripts. Many universities in the United States require that students have their transcripts sent through an evaluation service. What an evaluation service is and what they do is that they will take your grades from the Colombian grading system, and they will not only convert the grades from the Colombian system into the US 4.0 grading system, but they will also be converting a translation of the transcript. So you will actually have your university send the transcript and the diploma directly to one of the evaluation companies, who will then provide this evaluation and send it then directly to the university on your behalf. It's important to start this process early. Know that there is a fee or a cost to do this. And many universities all United States universities require this, but some may only require it at the beginning and some may require it after admission. Because it is required of every university in the US, I encourage you to just start it now so that you have it available. And also because it makes the review process a little bit easier for you, because Obviously, the schools are based in the US and they understand the US grading system a little bit better than the Colombian grading system. So we do not charge an application fee at our university. And we encourage you to then save that money that from our application that you didn't have to spend and spend it on the evaluation instead. We also require letters of recommendation. For our letters of recommendation, we want you to submit at least 2, no more than 3. And because we are a professional program and we want to see students who have had professional experiences and related involvement, we want to hear from professional recommendations as well as academic. So if you are required 2, we want to see at least 1 be academic and 1 be professional. That being said, I understand some of you may have a lot more work experience, and that's perfectly fine. And so if you've got a lot of work experience, it's probably more common and more understandable that you'll only have professional recommendations, and that's perfectly fine. But if you want to submit all 3 and you want to have a varied set of recommenders, we welcome that. We just encourage you to find recommenders who can truly talk about you and your experiences and help to strengthen your application. We also look for a resume or a CV. And I know many of you have been told 1-page resume, very short, but for an application to graduate studies, we want more information. So 2 pages is perfectly fine. And we want to know everything you've been involved with, both in your career as well as within university. These are management degrees. So if you've been involved in any clubs and organizations, any social activities within the community, we want to know about that. Did you do any volunteer work? And if you happen to be applying to a technical program, you're also going to want to highlight a section that talks about your technical skills, the languages that you can program, and the technical systems that you've maybe worked with before. Not finally, but also you have your essay. Our essay, some universities have a very specific question that they ask. Some are more of a statement of purpose. At the Heinz College, we offer a statement of purpose, which is very open. And it's asking essentially questions like, who are you? What are you interested in? What do you see yourself doing in 5, 10, 15 years from now? And how can the Heinz College help you to get there? And so this is our opportunity to connect with you and understand why it is that you want to apply to Carnegie Mellon University's Heinz College and why our program. The more you are involved in the application process, which I mentioned earlier, getting involved, and the more you are attending information sessions, the more you are reading about our programs on our website, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to answer the statement of purpose in the essay. We also do offer an optional essay, and the optional essay is truly optional. It is there for extra information. So maybe you have some grades from undergraduate that you are not happy with. They were not good grades. But maybe there was a reason why you did not have good grades. Maybe you were taking care of a sick family member, or maybe the pandemic had caused something else that we aren't familiar with. Maybe you were sick. We want to know this extra information so that we aren't just making an assumption or guessing that you are not a good student in this subject or you were being lazy. So it's there to help you to share information with the admission committee that we wouldn't otherwise know. And then we also have the TOEFL, IELTS, and now also Duolingo requirement. So an English language proficiency exam. With the TOEFL, we are looking for a score of 100, where you earn 25 on all 4 sections. We are looking for a 7 on the IELTS, where you earn a 7 on all 4 sections, or a 160 total on the Duolingo. Those are our recommended scores. We do accept some scores that are below those amounts, and I would encourage you to go onto our website to see the requirements for each of those exams. But please do know that if your scores fall below the minimum requirement, that we would not be able to offer admission, and your application would automatically be rejected and not considered for admission. The university does not allow us to accept applications with TOEFL or English language skill below the requirement, and therefore we could not offer the admission. And you'll also see here GRE and GMAT. The GRE or the GMAT, which is a little bit more popular for the MBA program, they are entry exams for the United States master's level programs and PhD programs. For our university, not all, but our university, our master's programs, the GRE or the GMAT is optional. We use the GRE and the GMAT to try and understand your quantitative or math skills. And so for students who are applying to more of our technical degree programs, if you do not have a math background or have skills in the quantitative range, you're going to be encouraged to take the GRE and GMAT. But if you've come from a more technical background and you've had a lot of maths as part of your undergraduate degree, then you could go ahead and submit your application without the GRE and GMAT. It is just up to you how you want to do that. By submitting the GRE and GMAT, though, you do also offer yourself the opportunity to strengthen your application and potentially open yourself up for additional scholarship. It's very hard when you see a university say it's optional because you wonder, oh, is it really optional or should I be taking it? In our purpose, it is truly optional, but if you are not sure, I would encourage you to reach out directly to me or to our office to give us a little bit more information about your background and the program that you're applying to so that we can guide you in the right direction. Ultimately, it's your decision if you want to take the GRE or the GMAT, but we can help you to make that decision and let you know whether or not we feel that your background would be supportive of not taking the GRE or the GMAT. Of course, when you are applying, there are many ways that you can improve the odds. So there are things that you can do, such as studying for the tests, both the English tests and the GRE. If you are still in university now, of course, keep working on great grades. Being that we are a professional master's program, we want you to participate in independent research or projects, do internships so that you can show us that you've had exposure to the field before. Make sure that if you are getting letters of recommendation from faculty, that you are actively letting them know about the application and you're participating in their office hours. I talked about the optional essay, so explain anything that is strange or anomalies to your record. Be a participant, and of course, apply by the deadline so that we can make sure that you're fully considered for both admission and scholarship. And when you are going through that application process, make sure in your documentation when you are researching the schools that you know their deadlines and that you know when you need to submit your application. Of course, everyone in the Office of Admissions wants to help you, but manners do count. So please make sure that you say please and thank you as you are working with them because they want to encourage you to apply and they want to have a good experience. And then finally, and this is one's actually quite difficult, but when you are applying to graduate school, it takes a lot of time to find the right program, a lot of time to prepare an application. So you do want to treat it like it's a job search or like a full-time job. Set time aside so that you know after work or after your studies at school that you're going to dedicate maybe 1 hour or 2 hours every evening to exploring the graduate studies as well as starting to prepare your application. This is how you can strengthen your application and work on improving your chance of admission to a graduate program. So we're going to transition now from talking about the application process at a very high level and starting to talk a little bit more specifically about the Heinz College and the programs that we offer within our department. And we'll leave time for questions about everything at the end here. So first off, welcome to Carnegie Mellon University. We are located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we are a top 25 ranked university overall with a reputation in a ton of different areas and are coming from students who want to participate in everything from focusing on public policy to information systems, the arts, and there are many, many, many other types of degree programs that are offered at the university. But today we're talking specifically about Carnegie Mellon's Heinz College. The picture you see here on the screen is here in our fall. So we are coming into October, and I would say probably within the next 25 to 30 days, that tree that you see right here in the picture will look exactly like this. And we are excited for our crisp October. We have 4 seasons in Pittsburgh, and so you truly get to experience everything from the hot, hot, humid summer to a cold, snowy winter and everything in between. Don't let that scare you. Let that be an experience that you will get to have. Many of our Colombian students really appreciate having that experience. Here at Carnegie Mellon, we're proud to say that we are very highly ranked. So we are the #1 school for information and technology management. We are the #2 for quantitative analysis. We are the #2 for information systems. We were ranked #7 as one of the most innovative universities. We've been ranked #10 for best hires. So that's just at the university level. And within the information systems and management, we are very proud to say that we are the #1 school for analytics education, as well as the #1 school for IT systems and management, #7 for public policy and management. So we've got a lot of fantastic opportunities available to our students, and I'm thrilled to share them with you today. One of the things you will notice here is that we are a school of information systems and a school of public policy under one college, the Heinz College. This was intentional. We are interdisciplinary. We are educating people for intelligent action. We are using technology and data, and we are implementing that opportunity for our students to both lead people and lead organizations in both the private and the public sector, in the arts and the entertainment fields. And we are also intersecting our students with social, decision, and data sciences. So we train our alumni to work at the nexus of people, policy, and technology. And whether you are an arts student, healthcare student, technology student, you are going to be able to have similar experiences within our core. So before I show you what that core looks like, I want to show you here the overall makeup of the Heinz College. So you can see we have our School of Information Systems programs, we have our School of Public Policy programs, our Arts and Entertainment. We do have an undergraduate program within Carnegie Mellon, but you can notice here it's actually in a different college. It's called the Dietrich College. So as a graduate student at Heinz College, you have the benefit that every program within Heinz is a master's or PhD program. That means that every resource that we offer is for our graduate students. You aren't going to find this pretty much anywhere else. We have our own career services team who is dedicated to our master's degree programs. Our faculty understand the needs of master's students, and we also offer clubs and organizations and advising specific to master's students. So it's a really unique experience, and we're very excited to share that with you. As I mentioned, the university is located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is our city, Pittsburgh. It's beautiful. We are also known as the Steel City or a steel town, with a reputation that has now been developed into a green city. It is livable, it is affordable, it is walkable. The city allows us to use it as an urban lab, and it's a great place to work and study, and especially for graduate students. Pretty much everywhere you go, you're going to find real-world opportunities in our region across all of our sectors. And Carnegie Mellon is the biggest show in town, and our students and the reputation of the university allows our students to benefit from that. So we get to partner with the mayor and with our city on a number of projects. And this is all about that professional master's degree program, taking what you're learning and applying it. And so we work both with the city and with industry partners in technology and medical informatics, within the arts, and we're able to use the city as a test bed for our students' work. Pittsburgh is a cultural center, and we are allowed to able to provide our students in the arts management programs with pathways for professional experiences. And also, not only can our students enjoy this, but students from all of our programs can enjoy the world-class museums, theater, and everything that makes our city great. But what makes our city also fantastic, and not many cities can share this, is that we have a very low cost of living. So there are great amenities, fantastic restaurants, a fun nightlife, and professional and college sports. So you get everything a big city has to offer in a smaller city feel. Very unique experience, and one that provides our students with a great opportunity. So here are some examples of how our students have taken what they've learned and they've applied it. First, we have our data for social good and smart and connected communities. So our students, for instance, on the research side, did a ride-sharing project to solve spatial mismatch of people and jobs. We also had students who took a course and focused on societal consequences of autonomous vehicles, where they were able to pair both with the Heinz College Public Policy program and faculty and our engineering department as well. Our students and faculty are making Pittsburgh a test bed and an urban lab to make smarter cities and communities, improving the quality of life. You can see here, we're also able to improve healthcare. We work with Big Pharma on issues that are global in consequence. And we're also focusing on information of security and the data of privacy, as well as seeding societal consequences of technologies. And so there are many ways that our students are able to take what they've learned and apply it. And this is through both coursework, through internships, and also through our capstone project. All students, regardless of which program they study, will be completing an internship as part of the degree program, and they will also complete a project with a client where essentially they are doing free consulting work. When our students are studying their core, we have a secret sauce or a formula that we tend to follow. That formula is analytics, technology, and implementation. And what that does is that makes a real world impact. And here is how you can see with the core curriculum, our students are taking those three areas. So depending on your program, you may be taking a management science, econ, stats with R, or financial analysis class. On the technology side, depending on your level, you may be doing data mining or GIS, database management. And it's all about taking what you've learning and applying it. So between the internships and the capstones, that's one example, but we also allow students to do that through things like telling stories with data, writing for policy classes. We even take our students out of the classroom and learn in the battlefield, for instance. We have a class that focuses on leadership and how they teach leadership on the battlefield. So you are able to really get a comprehensive experience that is unique for graduate studies and unique to the United States as well. These are a few examples of ways that our students have encouraged intelligent action. So you'll see here that, for instance, Leah Lizarrando, who's one of our alum, created an organization called 412 Food Rescue. She essentially created an Uber for food, where you had restaurants who were throwing away food that was food at the end of the day. And instead of throwing it away, they were able to use her app that she created and have the Uber company come and pick it up and deliver it to either a food pantry that was in need or a community that needed food that did not have enough money to buy food. And so she was able to connect the food deserts with restaurants who were throwing food away that was perfectly good otherwise. And so helping the greater good. You can also see here our students have worked in everything from education to healthcare to the TSA pre-check experience. And even our students were the original creators of the 911 emergency phone systems. So amazing opportunities that our students have had, and then created opportunities for others, to live on for a lifetime. Lastly, an overall discussion of the university, I mentioned career services. And as I said, each of you will have an advisor unique to your own individual degree program. And not only will career services be assisting you with your job search, but they will also be assisting you with getting connected for your internships and meeting with alumni. So much of our degree programs is about networking, and we want to make sure that you get to meet who our alumni are and meet them for the opportunities of both internships and jobs. And so Career Services helps to make that connection for you. They will also provide you with an advisor in their office, and also a mentor who is a second-year student. So you're going to be getting assistance from people who are at various levels of the experience. And that's something that is really important as you kind of move through the degree program. So here we're going to now talk a little bit about our degree programs. First set of programs we'll mention is our Information Systems and Management. The very first one we'll mention is our Cybersecurity program, where students are able to be thought leaders related to privacy of data and privacy of information. Our students go on to work for both government organizations as well as for private industry. It is making sure that we are protecting informational assets. You can approach this in 3 different ways. One is a management focus, one is a more technical focus, and one is a policy focus, or you can take a focus on all 3. So you get to make that decision. Here you can see we also have the Masters of Information Systems and Management. We have 2 tracks to this program, each which offer either a 3-semester a 1-year track or essentially a 2-year track. The 1-year track is specific for students who have work experience, and the 2-year track are for those who do not have work experience and therefore would be required to complete the internship. What is the Masters of Information Systems? It is kind of the combination between a Master's in Computer Science and an MBA merged into one. It looks at how do you use technology to influence business decisions, make smarter decisions, be more efficient. Our students work between those who are the programmers and those who are in executive level suites, and helping to connect them and say, I understand your technology needs, and I also understand your strategy goals. And you can help those two come together. When our students graduate, they go on to working as software engineers, systems engineers, data analysts, data scientists, project managers, and more. So many different types of opportunities. One that is a more general focus, being the MISM, and one that does a deep dive into AI and machine learning, and that's the Business Intelligence Data Analytics track. To dive in a little bit further, here you see the Information Security Policy and Management. So outside of the core that we talked about earlier, our students will also be taking some fun classes here, including also, though, like penetration testing and ethical hacking. So you have a lot of really fun opportunities to take what you're learning and apply it. We mentioned here that the MISM program has 2 tracks. While the data analytics track is focusing on AI and machine learning, and it focuses only on that, so you take a very deep dive and you don't have much flexibility, whereas the traditional track has much more flexibility, and you are able to even choose a specialization. You're not required to choose a specialization, but if you want to, these are the areas. And so you could focus on managing AI and robotics, digital marketing or commerce, business intelligence, software and IT strategy management, or even software development. So if you're interested in any of these areas, you can take a set of electives related to them. But if you would rather do that deep dive into business intelligence data analytics, here you see you have your core related to business, but then you also have very specific electives that are related to data and analytics. So there is very little wiggle room. Most of our students in the business intelligence data analytics track end up only having about 1 or maybe 2 elective courses. One of the interesting things I'll share, and especially because the MISM specialization offers a BI concentration, is that even students in our more general MISM program still go on to go into data analyst and data scientist roles. So here you can see an overview of our career outcomes with students ending up in all 4 of these sectors for the various degree programs. But mainly the MISM students are in the first 3, technology, consulting, banking, and finance. And our security students are in the information security, working for, again, private organizations as well as government organizations. We're very proud to say that our information systems and management students do extremely well in the outcomes of their career, both in the job titles that they get as well as the salaries. So our students are earning an average salary of around 135,000 US dollars directly out of our degree program. Now we move to our public policy and management programs, where we have our policy program tracks as well as our healthcare analytics and IT program. So for our public policy and management, you have 3 tracks. Those 3 tracks can be seen here, one being a Pittsburgh track, where it is a bit more of a generalist program, allowing you to take a more flexible curriculum, more electives, and have concentrations once again. Then you also have a deep dive in AI and machine learning, helping to tell a story with your data and doing the data analytics track. And then finally, we have a Washington, D.C. track, where students who maybe want to end up living and working in D.C. or working for a more multinational type of organization, they could end up with their first year studying in Pittsburgh, and then the second year living and working in Washington, D.C. And they would work 36 hours a week in that second year in Washington, D.C., as well as then take classes in the evenings and online. And so this is a really unique experience for our Washington, D.C. students. For those who want to do the more traditional, what we call flagship or generalist policy program, these are the various concentration areas that you could study under. So these are great opportunities for you to take electives specifically to these policy areas, and then continue to apply it with the technology and the implementation and the management skills that we give. A few examples quickly of projects that our students have done as part of the public policy and management program. So for instance, our students were able to help global leaders at the WEF get ready for future of work. We had students who, unfortunately, in the United States, we have an opioid crisis, and so they were disrupting the opioid addiction. And they were even using analytics to help fight illegal wildlife trafficking. So it's incredible some of the areas that our students have focused on, taking advantage of the skills that they learned, their own passion, and also their backgrounds from previous degrees. Here you can see outcomes of our public policy program. Our students end up in 5 main buckets, which include government, NGOs or foundations or nonprofits, in think tanks and research organizations. They could go into government consulting, or they may even end up in the for-profit space. For-profit is definitely becoming a little bit more popular these days, especially because the amount of money that is available. But when you're looking at the government level, our students are working in every level of government, from city government, state government, federal government, and that transcends and also moves here into other international governments as well. They can be at various levels or ministries within an organization. We also then mentioned we have our healthcare analytics and IT program, and this is taking advantage of both our policy experience, our healthcare degree programs that we offer, and also our IT experience. So our students in this particular degree program will have a focus on an opportunity to understand healthcare systems, both within the hospitals, within the insurance organizations, within healthcare consulting. And so you're able to even work within private tech space related to healthcare IT. These are great opportunities, and students really take advantage of Pittsburgh having 2 of the largest healthcare employers in the United States, being UPMC and Highmark. So here you can see our students end up in healthcare organizations, consulting, and the IT technology space. Moving on, we also have our arts programs, and we'll then wrap up with a few last-minute pieces. Within our arts organizations, even our art students are studying arts, analytics, and they are applying what they're learning. And of course, we believe that creativity is the skill of the future. And so a lot of people say, well, why are there, these 2 schools of information systems and information public policy and management with arts programs and some healthcare programs? And I think the key thing for everyone to remember is that you learn more when you learn with people who are different from you. And so it's really amazing the ideas that come together and the creativity that comes out of the Heinz College, because we are having students who are taking management classes together but have very different career outcomes. And so it's an amazing collaboration that we have done intentionally and that our students find to be extremely beneficial in their career outcomes. So here we are innovating education and experiential learning and in industry engagement. Students in our arts management program, which is essentially nonprofit arts, can focus on either the fine arts or performing arts space. You'll see here that students end up working in museums, orchestras, theaters, festivals, dance companies, even in the policy realm. And they are doing everything from management to marketing, fundraising, education, projects, and research and analysis. On the entertainment industry management program, this is a bit more of the for-profit side, or what we like to talk about as Hollywood, film, television, gaming, and also the music industry. Our students in this program study their first year in Pittsburgh, and then they move to Los Angeles, California at our campus there for the second year, where they are similar to the Washington, D.C. policy track, working full-time for either a major studio or a gaming organization or a music label. Our students end up working in film studios, for TV networks, production, talent agencies, representation, gaming companies, and music labels. And they do everything from development to acquisition, distribution, representation, marketing, research, and more. It is an extremely cool program for those who are looking to work in the entertainment space. So we talked about the admissions process at a high level, and here it is once again for Carnegie Mellon University. Our application deadline is January 10th. This is the deadline for our programs every year. So if you are considering to apply for 2024, you want to make sure your application is submitted by that date. Once again, GRE-GMAT is optional, and we are specifically looking for courses in math classes. So for those of you who are not sure whether you qualify to submit the GRE or not, I'm happy to have that conversation with you. We also do offer a video interview as part of our application. It's optional, but strongly recommended. It's just a chance for you to help bring your application to life, to share with us more information about you yourself, and to help strengthen your application. And we receive so many applications, and there's so much paper and review, and this helps to kind of break that up a little bit for us and learn a little bit more about you. As a reminder, we don't charge an application fee, so that's a little bit of money that you can save. And the timeline for our program is that you will apply by January 10th, and you will hear back from us around mid-March. Now, I understand this is slightly different from the timeline that you are following for Col Futuro. So let me take a moment here to talk about our relationship with Col Futuro and the scholarship that's available. We've been partnering with Col Futuro, I'm thinking somewhere in the range of almost 10 or more years now, and we are very proud of this relationship. We provide students who are applying through Col Futuro an automatic 30% scholarship. When you are submitting your online application, the first question you'll see here is, would you like to be considered for merit-based scholarships or fellowships from the school? We want you to answer yes to this question. Following that question, there'll be another one that asks, are you affiliated with any strategic partners? The answer would also be yes to this question because you are applying through Col Futuro. When you let us know that you are with Col Futuro and you get admission, you're automatically going to receive the 30% scholarship. For those students who then later, and I think this is typically in maybe March, April, May, and Louisa and Joanna will confirm the timeline for me. Maybe even in July, I can't recall now. You will receive your decision from Col Futuro whether you get their funding and are selected for their program. If you are selected for Col Futuro, your 30% scholarship will change to 75% scholarship. But everyone who applies, even if you don't get the Col Futuro selection, you will always have the 30% minimum. And because you also selected the first question about merit-based scholarship, you may receive even more than 30% based on your academics. We want to see students from Colfuturo and from Colombia joining our programs. Our students from Colombia have been extremely successful, and we really want to continue that opportunity. And so as a indicator to you, here are a couple of recent Colfuturo recipients. Tatiana is currently studying at the Heinz College. The others have now gone on to graduate. And you can see they originally were working here in Colombia. And then after graduation, what they've done, or what Tatiana is currently doing as a current student in our program. Our students from Colombia are extremely active. We have a Colombian Student Association, we have a Latino Student Association, and you can get connected to both of those organizations by just reaching out to our students here on the screen and others you see in LinkedIn. Our Colombian students want to have more Colombian students come to Heinz College, and they want to share with you their experience and talk about all that you have to learn both at the Heinz College and in Pittsburgh. So we want you to learn more about the Heinz College. So there are many ways that you can get involved. We have many online information sessions that we do just directly through the university, specifically talking about our degree programs. But here on the screen, you see the QR code. I ask that you please scan that QR code and fill out the form. By filling out the form, I'm going to be able to help connect you with our program directors, who will be able to share more details about the specifics of the courses, your career goals, the background. We're going to let you know when our application opens. Our application is not open yet, so we'll let you know when that opens. We're going to share more details on scholarships and many ways that you can join us for various events, which include this event here. We have our fall visitation program coming up November 11th, 10th, and 11th. And because you are all affiliated with Colfuturo, we are offering all students who are affiliated with strategic partners a $400 travel stipend to travel to Pittsburgh in the fall, in November, to visit us on campus and join us for this program. So we want you, when you get our invitation, to please come visit us in person. Of course, if you can't come in person, we will also be hosting some of these sessions online. But we really do want you to join us in person and take advantage. So here's that QR code one more time if you want to get details on the $400 travel stipend and also get connected with our community. Please scan and fill out that form. And then finally, here is my contact information. The top email address is for our general office of admissions. I do a lot of travel. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but I'm currently in Colombia, and I'm leaving for Indonesia next week. So I travel a lot, and sometimes if you email me, I can't get you a quick, fast response. But if you email the email address above, you'll get a response much quicker than when I'm traveling. But please reach out to all of us. I want to thank you so much for your attention and joining me, and I'm happy to take some questions at this time.
Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation, David. We have a couple of questions, and I encourage those who are connected to write all the questions you may have. But first, answering when Colfuturo will publish their results, that will be in the middle of May 2024. So we have a question here. How damaging would it be to my admission process if I couldn't get an academic recommendation?
It is not damaging at all, especially if you have work experience. We encourage you to submit the professional recommendations. Because we are a professional master's program, and so much of when we're reviewing an applicant is what are their hands-on skills, what are the experiences that they've had related to the degree program. By hearing from people who are in the professional world and can talk about your professional experiences, I think that plays a really important role. So that is what I would say is it's perfectly fine to have that academic recommender. Sarah, I see that the QR code directs you to the webinar here. That is exactly correct. If you could just register for that, that will then give me the connection for you to the for all of the other information. It'll just let me know that you were here. Oh, it's closed? Sorry. All right, here, let me open that. Give me just a second while we're on the line. I'll open it while we're answering other questions.
Okay, David. What makes a strong candidate for this kind of programs you just mentioned?
Yeah, that is also a really good question. So in order to be a good candidate, we are looking for students who have very clear and defined goals. In particular, we're looking for students when they apply to the university to say, this is exactly what I want to be doing in my career, and why in particular you want to be doing it here at Carnegie Mellon University. So having those clear and defined goals helps us to really make sure that you are truly knowing why you want to do this degree program. Sometimes students look at our application and they say to themselves, oh, wow, you know, there's all these degree programs and I really kind of want to do all of them. And that's not necessarily possible to do all of the degree programs. And so in order to, submit a strong application and pick the right program, we want students to make sure that they've explored the degree program entirely and that they really have an opportunity to make sure that they're picking the right one, because by picking the right one, that will make sure that they are truly, showing that they know why they're coming into this degree program.
Can students do an internship during the master's program?
Absolutely. All of our students are required to complete a internship as part of the degree program. And so, yes, we will be assisting you with that experience, and you'll be able to work with career services to explore various internship opportunities and get connected with alumni and with the employers who regularly hire our students. Here is I also just put here in the chat the link for where the QR code was. It should be working now, so please let me know if you have any issues.
Could you please repeat the English requirements again, please?
Yeah, definitely. So with the English requirements, and maybe I also just put a link here for where you can find it, because each English requirement is slightly different for each test. So let me get the web page for you here, and I'll put it in, and then I can also speak of it on the call here. So here's the web page where you would find that information. And for the TOEFL exam, we are looking for students to have an overall score of 100 on the TOEFL to be competitive. That is the recommended score. However, at minimum, you would need to get a 22 in all sections and a 20 on the speaking. For the IELTS, the recommended is 7, with a 7 in each section, but the minimum would be 6.5 on all sections except for the speaking, which can be 6. And then finally, with Duolingo, it is a score of 160, which is the recommended, but a minimum of the 120 for literacy, 125 for comprehension, 90 for production, 105 for conversation, and a 120 overall. So Duolingo is a little bit more confusing there with all the various sections in the scoring.
Well, we have a question from Monica, who is asking the Master of Information Systems Management only starts in fall?
That is correct. Our information systems program, all of our tracks, including our 12-month track, only starts in the fall. So maybe a couple of you have heard of students or are familiar with students who did the 12-month track starting in May. We have now moved that May class to start in the fall with everybody else.
Okay. Could I do the applications and send the English test between January and March?
That is a very good question. In January, I would say yes. Any later than January, I would say no, because what happens is your application does not get reviewed until it is complete. And so you want to make sure that you have a complete application while there are still seats available in the incoming class. And so if you wait and take it and submit it in around February or March, at that point, there may not be any seats remaining. So I encourage you to take it as soon as you can so that you have a complete application submitted for the application.
Okay. Can students work at campus?
Oh, great question. Yes. Our students are allowed to work for 20 hours a week. All of the on-campus jobs pay $17 an hour, which turns into somewhere around $7,000 for the year. In addition to that, the students who complete internships, many of them are paid internships, very nicely paid, and the paid opportunities are definitely available to international students, and it just depends on the employer that the student is applying to and the opportunity that they're looking for.
Diego is asking, good evening. I'm working in a government entity, so I am confused about recommendations. Could I send you a job letter?
So the job letter is not required. We would encourage you to have the job information in the job letter put within the resume. So that's where you would detail what information that you've participated in your work. The recommendation is more about how you are in a team working on projects. Do you manage your time correctly? And it's the perception or it's the experience that a supervisor or a manager can talk about you working for them in an organization. So that's really what a recommendation is somebody who can talk more about you and your skills versus the resume and the information that would be in a job letter where you would put it all together in your CV.
What degree options are available for the master's program, such as thesis, project, and internship?
Could you clarify what do you mean by degree options?
Maybe they could choose between doing a thesis or a project or an internship.
So the internships are all required unless you go for one of our 12-month tracks where it can be skipped. The thesis is not very common. If a student is thinking about a thesis, what they would end up doing is a independent research study, which can count as a class. And you would then be able to take for one semester that independent research and kind of focus on a thesis. And then finally, you have the project, which is required of all students to complete in either their second to last or final semester, where they're working with a client on a particular, consulting type of job.
Okay, Sarah is saying, you mentioned that I might be placed on the fast track. Could you please remind me of the requirements for the fast track, please?
Sure. So the fast track, the only requirement to get entered into the fast track is 3 or more years of full-time work experience. So typically a student who applies to our programs, if they have 3 or more years of work experience, the admission committee generally wants to see that student go into the fast track. It's not always the case that they are required to complete the fast track, but most often the admission committee will say to them, that is the track that you get the admission to. We encourage you to apply to the track that you are interested in, but do know that the committee may switch you from, the traditional 16-month track to the 12-month track.
Well, we do not have more questions, but just to finish, could you please give one piece of advice for those who are planning to study at Carnegie?
Yeah, definitely. I think the one piece of advice, and I mentioned this before, is to be an active participant in the application process. You're already doing that now, coming here to this session, and you are doing it by working with Colfuturo. I know you all are familiar with the education system in the United States and the requirements. And so I just want to commend all of you for your interest in studying outside of Colombia and for the dedication that you're putting towards your applications. Know that our office is here to help you. And I encourage you once again to reach out to me. I'll put my email address here in the chat one more time if you didn't get it when it was on the screen. And you can reach out to me, reach out to our alumni. And so, yeah, thank you very much. And I appreciate your time and for joining us today.
Thank you, David. So that concludes our webinar. We really appreciate you taking the time today. You're always welcome here in Colombia. And well, with no more to add, have a good night and thank you.
Thank you.